Good day, class. Welcome to our English 8 lesson for Quarter 2, Week 7. I hope you're all excited and ready to continue learning about position papers. In this lesson, we will go beyond just understanding persuasive writing. We will actually plan and draft our own position papers supported by facts and credible references. So, get your pens, notes, and energy ready. Here are our learning competencies for this week. First, compose the informational text based on the chosen text type. Second, revise the text for coherence. By the end of this week, you should be able to write your own position paper and revise it to make sure it's clear, logical, and convincing. After our lessons, you should be able to. Here are our lesson objectives. First, identify a topic or issue and formulate a clear claim. Second, determine a thesis statement as the central idea of the persuasive text. Third, gather and document at least 3 credible references, APA format, explaining how each source supports each claim. Fourth, compose a draft of your position paper with an introduction, arguments, counter-arguments, and conclusion. Fifth, revise your draft for coherence and clarity. So yes, at the end of this class, you will be writing your very own mini research-based paper this week. Let's move on to our content vocabulary. We will have a short activity. The title is Content Vocabulary. Instructions: you are going to read and understand each item very carefully and click on the definition that best matches the given term. You are going to read each word and then you choose the best definition that matches it. First word, coherence. What is coherence? A. The ability to persuade others using strong arguments. B. The quality of being logical and consistent. C. The act of repeating words or phrases for emphasis. Is it A, B, or C? Yes, the answer is B. Coherence is the quality of being logical and consistent. Word number 2, persuasive writing. What is persuasive writing? A. A writing that tells a story about personal experiences. B. A writing that presents information and facts without opinions. C. A writing that seeks to convince its readers to accept or agree with a viewpoint, presenting arguments and/or entreaty. What do you think is the answer? Yes, that's correct. It's letter C. It's a writing that seeks to convince the readers to accept or agree with the same viewpoint or argument with the writer or with the speaker. In letter A, it tells about personal experiences, so that is narrative writing. In letter B, it talks about information. It talks about facts, so that is expository writing. The next word is persuade. A. To describe something in detail using sensory words. B. To convince or cause someone to believe in something. C. To explain how to do something step by step. What could be the answer? Yes, correct. It's letter B. To convince or cause someone to believe in something. Letter A is just simply describing or defining a specific detail or topic, while letter C is simply instructing or demonstrating how to do a particular thing. So, let's discuss each of them one by one. The first word is coherence. It is the quality of being logical and consistent. When we say coherence, it means that you need to be consistent about your topic, about your stand, from the beginning of your text to the middle of your text and to the conclusion of your text. Next word is persuasive writing. It is a type of writing that seeks to convince its readers to accept or agree with a viewpoint, presenting arguments and or entreaty. In this particular writing, it seeks to convince the readers to agree with your viewpoint or your idea. The main goal of this particular type of writing is simply to convince the reader to agree with your idea or with your viewpoint. The third word is persuade. It means to convince or cause someone to believe in something. When we say persuade, it is the act of convincing another person to believe in your idea or to stand with your own viewpoint. These three words, coherence, persuasive writing, and persuade, are just some words that makes up a good position paper. So, a good position paper must be coherent, persuasive, and be able to convince your audience. So what is a position paper? So what is a position paper? A position paper discusses an arguable opinion about an issue. The goal is to convince the audience that your opinion is valid by presenting all sides of an issue comprehensively. When we say that a position paper discusses an arguable opinion about an issue, it means that you are writing about a topic where people may have different points of view. So your point of view or your opinion may be different from other people's point of view or opinion. You are not simply giving information, but you are taking a stand on one side of the issue. Either you agree to that particular topic or you disagree to that particular topic. So kinahanglan mo hatag ka sa imuhang side or stand about the topic. The goal of writing a position paper is to convince your readers that your opinion or stand is reasonable and valid. To do this, you should present all sides of the issue and show to them that you understand both arguments. Dili pwede one-sided. You need to present all sides of the issue and show to them that you understand the two sides of the story. Next, explain clearly why your position makes more sense or stronger. So you need to explain why do you believe that your particular stand is correct, or why do you believe that your particular stand or idea is more factual or more believable than the other idea. Next, use evidences like facts, data, and examples to support your stand. In this way, your readers will really see that your opinion is not just based on your emotion or personal belief, but on clear reasoning and reliable proof. For an instance, if you're going to talk about something with your classmate or with your friend, kinahanglan na kita ebidensya nga isuporta ana. Because if there are no evidences, then that particular thing may not be considered as reliable. Here are some purposes of a position paper. The purpose of a position paper is to show to you that you can think critically about an issue and take a clear stand. So a position paper helps you in number one, take one side of an issue. Two, present your opinion clearly. Support your stand with facts and evidence. And fourth, acknowledge and refute counter arguments. Now, when you're going to write a position paper, you are not just sharing your opinion. You are defending it with solid reasons and evidences. Dili pwede nga mga illogical, mga nonsense ang atong i-reason. It should be solid reasons with evidences to back up these reasons. Next, you should choose one side of an issue and explain your viewpoint or idea clearly so that your readers will understand where you stand. So kinahanglan, dili paling-paling. You need to be firm on what side you are going to take. It's also important to acknowledge the opposing side, meaning you recognize that there are other opinions, but then you explain to them why your argument or why your idea is stronger than the other idea. In short, a position paper helps you express your stand confidently, back it up with facts, and respond respectfully to opposing ideas. So in making a position paper, it will make your stand clear, and it will also somehow help you in kanang resolving matters in a professional and respectable way. When you write a position paper, there are several important features you need to remember. So, again, when you write your paper, you make sure first you must address all sides of the issue. This means you should show that you understand not only your own argument, but also the opposing viewpoints. This makes your paper fair and well balanced. As what I have said a while ago, you should know both opposing sides, the positive and the negative, or the agree and the disagree, para dili ka mabias. Next, explain your stand logically. Do not rely on emotion or opinion alone. Organize your ideas in a way that makes sense and leads your reader step by step toward your conclusion. So you need to make sure that you do not just simply use more emotions. Rather, you are going to use evidences to support your idea so it becomes more stronger. Next, you should also use clear and simple language so that your readers can easily understand your message. Avoid confusing terms or long, complicated sentences. As much as possible, we make sure that the sentence is simple, clear, and it is understandable by all sorts of audience. Remember, there are different types of audiences as what we have discussed in the previous lesson. So we need to make sure that it can be relatable to the lay people, to the rank and file, to the managerial audience, and to the real audience, and so on and so forth. Finally, always support your claims with evidence. It could be that, as what we have discussed in the other module as well, there are different types of evidence. We have factual evidence, statistical evidence, we have expert opinions or examples to make your arguments more stronger and convincing. Now, how to choose a good issue? Before you write your position paper, you need to first choose a good issue or a good topic, one that people actually disagree about. Kinahanglan ang kani siya nga particular topic or issue, kana jung daghan ang wala nagkasinabot about a specific topic. So first, you need to ask yourself these questions to help you decide what particular topic will it be. First, is it a real issue with genuine controversy? Your topic should be something people can debate, not something that everyone already agrees on. So kinanglan, nagdebate pa ang mga tao about ana, dili kay nagkahiusa na sila ana. So it should be debatable. Second, can you identify two clear ideas? A position paper needs opposing viewpoints, one that supports and one that agrees with your, or one that supports and one that disagrees with your stand. Third, are you personally interested in it? It's easier to write when you care about the topic or you can relate to it. Again, you should be invested or interested about the topic that you are going to write about. Okay, if you don't know about the topic, then basically, you will not be able to write something about it. Lastly, is it narrow enough to be manageable? Avoid topics that are too broad or too complicated. Choose one specific aspect that you can fully explain within your paper. So, dili pwede nga kanang general kayo imong topic. You need to narrow it down. You need to be specific with what particular topic you are going to discuss. So remember, a good issue is real, debatable, interesting, and focused. Here are some examples of possible issues you can write about in a position paper. The first one is, should uniforms be required in schools? This is a debatable topic. Why? Because some people believe uniforms promote equality and discipline, while others think it limits their self-expression. Yes, that's correct, no? Ang uban, they will think that wearing school uniforms will show respect and it will show discipline because people and equality. Because people from all sorts of life, may you be rich, may you be poor, you will just be wearing the same uniform. So, but other people will say they don't like uniform because it limits their self-expression, especially those mga artistic people. They want to express themselves through fashion. So they will not agree with that. Next topic, is online learning better than face-to-face? Just like what we are having right now. So this is becoming a very big issue, or this was a very big issue during the pandemic, and somehow it is now coming back to life. Some students prefer online classes for convenience. They do not need to ride tricycle, they do not need to ride jeepneys in going to school. Rather, they just simply wake up, wash their face, and turn on their cameras or turn on their laptops and cell phones and attend classes. While others wanted to learn better in person. So other people, they want face-to-face learning because they can see friends, they can really mingle with their classmates, they can mingle with their teacher, unlike the online learning. So this particular topic is also debatable. Lastly, another example, should social media use be limited for teens? So many argue that social media affects mental health, but others say it helps teens connect and express themselves. So we have different opinions about a certain topic. So maybe some of you will say that social media can help me cope up with depression because I can see videos which will help me cope up. And some of you will also say that social media can affect your life because you cannot study anymore. You will just simply going to focus on other things which are not so important. Now, these topics are good examples because they are debatable, they are relevant, and something that students can relate to. When choosing your own topic, look for issues like these to spark discussion and have two clear sides, the positive side or the negative side. Or we also have the agree side or the disagree side. Now, once you've chosen your topic, the next step is to analyze and develop your argument. First, no, so after you research your topic, you now develop and analyze your argument. So first, research your issue. Don't rely only on your opinion. Look for reliable information from books, articles, or credible websites. The more you know about the topic, the stronger your position will be. So again, you cannot write what you don't know. So you need to research about your topic. You need to research about your issue. You read websites or you read sources with credible articles about that particular topic. Next, make a list of the pros and cons or the advantages and the disadvantages. In this way, it will help you see both sides of the argument, and it will also prepare you to respond to possible counter arguments. Then, after making a list of the positive and negative or the advantages and disadvantages, you may now decide what will be your stand. Are you going to choose the positive side? Or are you going to choose the negative side? Or are you going to choose the agree side or the disagree side? Now, in choosing a stand, you need to choose the side you believe in the most, or the one you can best defend using facts and reasoning. Again, you need to make sure that the side that you are going to, the stand that you are going to make is your personal stand. You should not copy the stand of your classmate because you are your friend. No, even if the the idea that you have is the different one. So no, it's not like that. You make your own stand about the topic. So it will be easier for you to reason out and support evidences. Finally, gather supporting evidence to back up your position. This can include this can include facts, statistics, expert opinions, or real-life examples. Remember, strong evidence makes your argument more convincing. Again, when we're going to make arguments, we need to make sure that we have strong supporting evidences. Again, it could be anecdotal evidence, textual evidence, factual evidence, statistical evidence, and other types of evidences. When you make an argument, it's not enough to simply say what you believe, but you need to support it with evidence. Okay, I have already repeated it a million times that we need to have evidence. Let's look at the four main types of supporting evidence that you can use. First is factual knowledge. These are pieces of information that are true and can be verified by almost everyone. Again, when we say factual knowledge, this is a factual statement. It is not just true to you, but it is true to everybody. For example, the earth orbits the sun. Plastic takes hundreds of years to decompose. So we believe that this is backed up with science. And this is not just true to you, but it is true to everybody in the world. Next, statistical inference. This refers to the numbers, data, or research findings that help improve your point. For example, we are going to say, according to a 2024 survey, 70% of students prefer blended learning. So when we say statistical inference, there is a certain number of people who answered that particular thing. So that's statistical inference. We refer it to numbers and data to support a claim. Next, we have the informed opinion. This comes from the experts or credible sources who have studied the topic. For instance, quoting a doctor, a researcher, a professor who gives an expert view on the issue. So when we say informed opinion, these are opinions or these are statements from expert people. For example, your topic is about health, then you should consult to a doctor. If your topic is about the law, then you should go to a lawyer. If your topic is about a certain if your topic is about the school, then you could go to the teacher, to the principal. So you need to make sure you find some experts or credible sources that is knowledgeable about that particular topic. Lastly, we have personal testimony. This is a real experience shared by someone knowledgeable or directly affected by the issue. For example, a student sharing their experience about online learning. So, if you experience that particular thing, then you can use it as your personal testimony. So, it is the experience of you or other people about a certain topic. Now, mixing or using a mix of these types of evidence helps make your position paper more believable, balanced, and persuasive. So you can mix up four, you can mix up three types of evidences, or at least two. It's up to you. Because when you use a mix of these evidences, it will help make a strong position paper. When preparing to write a position paper, there are a few important steps to follow. First, choosing an issue. Start by selecting a topic that has two or more opposing sides. It should be something people can argue about. Again, in choosing an issue, it should be debatable, a real issue with a genuine controversy. Choose one that interests you, so writing about it doesn't, or if so that writing about it feels meaningful. No, it's not useless because you want the topic. Next, defining the issue. Once you've chosen your topic, explain clearly what the issue is about. Give your audience enough background information so they understand why the issue matters and what the debate is about. Third, considering positions or considering your own position and reasons. After understanding the issue, decide which side do you agree with and list your reasons. Think about why you believe that this side is stronger and what could be the possible evidences that will support your stand. This guide this particular thing will guide you in the main argument of your position paper. Next, we have research the issue. Gather information from reliable and credible sources, such as books, journals, or reputable websites. You can also use newspaper articles or magazines, interviews from TV, interviews from YouTube vlogs. Research helps you understand all sides of the topic and find strong evidence to support your position. Remember, the more informed you are, the more convincing your argument will be. So, if you're trying to convince your reader, you need to make sure that you are going to let them see or you're going to let them feel that you know about the topic very well. Next, analyze your readers. Think about who will read your position paper. What are their beliefs, values, or possible opinions about the issue? Knowing your audience helps you choose the right tone and examples that can appeal to them effectively. So you need to make sure that you know your audience. Again, there are different types of audience, and you need to make sure who are the audience or who will be the readers of your position paper. In that way, you would know how to connect with your audience. Next, determine the argument for your position. Once you have your research and understand who are your audience, decide what main argument or claim you will defend. This is your stand or your thesis statement. Make sure it's clear, strong, and specific, and that you can support it with solid evidence. Next, determine counter-arguments. When writing a position paper, it is important to think about what the other side might say. These are your counter-arguments, the reasons people might disagree with your stand. By identifying them early, you can prepare strong responses to show that you understand both sides and that your position is still the stronger one. This makes your paper more balanced, fair, and persuasive. You need to consider also the side of the opposite side. And you think about or you think ahead, what could be their possible arguments sa other side? And you also address them by writing something about that particular side. Next, Formulate a working thesis statement. Your thesis statement is the main idea or claim of your paper, the sentence that clearly states your position on the issue. A working thesis means it can still be adjusted as you research and refine your ideas. It should be clear, specific, and arguable, showing exactly what you believe and what you want your readers to believe too. For example, social media use among teens should be limited to protect their mental health. This statement takes a clear stand and can be supported by evidence. So before we go to our activity, again, we were able to discuss what is a position paper, what are the steps in you making a position paper, and what are the things that we need to consider in making a position paper. So let's go to our let's have a short activity called the issues map. So you're going to complete the issues map by writing the following: the description of the issue, why people should care, problems or concerns related to the issue, example situations that support your stand about the issue, arguments for your stand, arguments against their stand. So you're going to write this in the activity sheet number 2.5, the issues map. So this is a copy of the issue map. So this is a copy of the issue map. It's activity 2.5. I want you to write it on a long bond paper. Again, you are going to raise problems and or concern that relates to the issue that you are going to choose. Okay, so it's there, no? Describe it. Why people should care about that particular issue. And then you're going to cite examples or situations that supports your stand. What issue is it? Is it what argue for it? What are the ideas or situations that argue against it? And what is your stand about the issue?